friends. Uncle Marv here with a special edition of the IT Business Podcast presented by NetAlly. And this show is a little bit different because I want to talk about a product that I ran into in the middle of last year. So around July of 2024, I came across this patching program, and I really wasn't going to talk about it, wasn't going to say much. It didn't appear to be on the MSP approved list of things that we should use. So I thought, let me play around with it and see what it does. And one of the reasons that it got my attention is that they were offering 100 free endpoints that you could install and use with no limits, fully functional. And I said, all right, I'll put this on the customers and see what it is. The product that I'm talking about is Action1. They are a leading provider of risk-based patch management and autonomous endpoint management. And interestingly enough, this was founded by a couple of guys that worked at a company that I have talked about before, Netwrix. And so they use this platform, and it has been fantastic. I loved it. I talked about it probably 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. I mentioned it, and somebody from Action1 actually paid attention and said, thanks for mentioning it on the show. And I said, well, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get you guys on the show. So today I have with me Mike Walters, one of the founders and president of Action1. So he is going to come and explain in a little bit better offer what I just said. So Mike, welcome to the show.
Hey, Uncle Marv, glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well,
Really
thank
excited.
you. Yes. So let's just quickly get out of the way. This is a product that it came onto the scene, patch management, 100 endpoints free. That seemed like a pretty bold move, didn't it?
Well, it's first of all, it's no longer 100, it's 200 now. We upped that number. And one thing that a lot of people think there's a catch, there's some strings attached to it. No, it is actually a fully functional product. That's one the most important thing I should say. And no functional limits other than the limit on the number of endpoints you use. You can patch, you can manage endpoints, you can have real-time dashboards. Everything is included. And even if you have more, you still get the credit for the first 200. So you have 300, you get the first 200 free, and you only pay for the excess 100 on top of that. If you're a large enterprise with 50,000 endpoints, you still get, well, it's a little credit, but you still get that. It's a fair deal.
Right. So that's what drew me in, and I wanted to see how it compared with my existing patch management, which, to be honest, is kind of a combination of the built-in Microsoft. I also have an RMM that I do patching with, and it's all right. It's a little cumbersome at times, but it does the job, and I thought this seems interesting. So let's talk about the story of how Action1 got started.
Just like I think I'll piggyback on what you just said. So you have an RMM. It has patching. It works all right. And this is the story we heard so many times. It's kind of a checkbox. So many vendors use this. Okay, so we have to get patching out of the way, be done with that, move on to do something more wonderful, something more exciting, right? Because I love doing patching, so said no one ever. And we figured, well, but if you start looking at those all those products, they do patching, they claim to do patching, but no one does it well. And we just said, well, you know what? Why don't we just start focusing on just patching relentlessly? And this relentless focus is what brought us a lot of success, because initially it was like, oh, like, why limiting? Like, there's so many things you can do in the endpoint space, right? But then we realized that patching is something that a lot of our customers just want. Well, guys, just make it work. And this is what we did. We just created patching solution that just works. And behind that, there's a lot of aspects, right? You can't, easier said than done, but when you talk about it, can I patch there's Patch Tuesday, there's third-party application patching, there's so many different applications. There's no common standard for downloading those patches because it's all over the place, right? There's no cadence, there's no metadata that's available, that's uniform, right? And we just got together and said, okay, let's do it. So we have a behind the scenes, we have a team of almost I think currently it's 15 people dedicated just to patch engineering, right? Just to get an idea of the scale of what it takes to make patching that just works.
Right. Now, I mentioned that you were previously at Netwrix,
Yeah.
and I used a couple of their products. Was this something that you saw at Netwrix, decided, you know what, I'm going to go start my own little thing over here? Is that how that started, or what was the transition?
Well, the full story is I was a co-founder of that company as well. So you probably didn't get, like, I didn't just work there. I co-founded. I even came up with the name. Like, it's a weird name. Like, everybody asked me, like, what is Netwrix? It's like, well, it's networks, but twisted, right? So
Right.
networks.com was already taken at that time, as you can imagine. So, like, yeah, let's create something that's unique. There's a quick domain. Well, the thing is, it was a mistake to name it that way because it's extremely difficult to spell. Like, you call someone and it's like, I'm from Netwrix. Like, what, networks? No, Netwrix, Netwrix. So when this time around, it was like, no, let's name it in a very, very simple one. Action1. Like, can't misspell that, right? But I think so. Well, that was a great run. So what the great thing about Netwrix is it's the same co-founders, me and Alex Voff. So we started that company back in 2006, as far back as 2006. No investor money. Nothing, not even our money. Like, it was pretty much an incremental work, just putting some sweat equity in, how they call it. Both of us are engineers, love coding, love technology, and we spent both of us spent the previous I think I spent close to 9 years at Quest Software. So the company that, Windows management, very
Right.
established vendor, still around, very successful. But it was like, okay, let's create something that, and I honestly, I never believed that we could take it to that level. So right now it's a multi-billion-dollar company. We exited it back in 2018. We just figured, oh, well, it was getting too big, and we both of us just love building new companies. And at some point, look, I think we had over 500 employees at that time. And what I really enjoy in startup companies is, everyone. Like, I don't know, every single one of your people, they are well, I wouldn't use the word friend, but they're as close to that as you can, because
Right.
you depend on them. Like, everyone contributes to the success. And with 500 people, like, you don't remember their names anymore. Someone shakes your hand in the hallway. It's like, oh, who is that? Do they work for Netwrix? Yeah, they do. Okay, that's our new senior developer. It's like, oh, senior developer, and I don't know his name yet. Like, that's not good. So we went on. So 2018, left that company. We had a very successful exit. A private equity firm bought it, but we got all of it to ourselves. We had no investors, like no one to share the money with. And it's like, all right, let's build something really cool, something new from the ground up, with pretty much endless runway. So we committed $20 million to creation of this company. So far, we've only used less than 4 because it became profitable so quickly. It became profitable unimaginably quickly. And people still ask, like, okay, so but you give away 200 endpoints. How do you guys make money?
Right.
Well, we are heavily enterprise oriented. So we created a product that can scale up to, we have customers who have over 100,000 endpoints, like one customer, 100 and I think they're 120,000. But we just figured, oh well, some companies like there's big companies like Tanium. They say, oh, we don't even want to talk to you if you have less than some people say 500 endpoints, some say 2,000 endpoints. But we said, okay, well, it's we probably are not going to make money on those, but why can't we just provide it? I mean, for the common good, why not offer this? The economy of scale allows us to do that.
Right.
We're not going to break the bank on doing this, and for the common good, and also, people spread the word. Like you started using the product. I mean, we got some attention to it, and people also changed their jobs. So like today you work for a small company or run your smaller business, but then you grow or you get a job at a large corporation which has 50,000 endpoints.
Right.
And we want you to love Action1 and bring it over with us. And we have, like, what's wonderful is we have customers doing that all the time. It's like this is the most wonderful customers, a repeat customer. Moved over to a different company and brings us with us. So that's
Well, when you find something that works, you take it everywhere, and that's just really
right.
the way it goes. Now, your product. So let's kind of dig deep a little bit, because it's not just patch management the way most of us understand it. Most of us think of patching as, what we do with our Windows systems, but you guys added the third party patching, which we would use, Ninite or Chocolatey to bring in those third party stuff. And then you also started doing vulnerability patching as well.
Right.
So let's talk about the mindset to add all of those, and talking about why is patching so important.
I think so. To put it simply, we just figured, why can't, like, the long term vision is we want to become a go to patching vendor for and patch everything under the sun. Because there's so many different types of devices. They're predominantly, Windows is still very predominant, but there's the Mac OS, there's the Linux, there's mobile applications, network devices, and all of this needs patching. I mean, it's I think someone what's his name, Mikko Hipponen, the guy from F-Secure, he said, if a device is smart, it's vulnerable. That's a really cool thing. Like, pretty much anything that runs software needs patching
Right.
sooner or later, no matter how well it's designed. And most of those devices are not well designed. I mean, if you talk about medical devices, for example, that's like they're impossibly insecure. It's just crazy. But anyway, we started with something that's Windows is very common, very predominant. There's Patch Tuesday once a month. There's a big rollout by Microsoft, but those are easy. Most patching vendors do that because there's a well-documented API that Microsoft provides. There's no magic behind it. It's just need to write proper code. There's code samples available, easy. And this is what most vendors do. Most RMMs have it covered to some extent. There's some aspects to that as well, because it doesn't really work well enough. I mean, sometimes I get a feel like Microsoft has their own special APIs they use for things like Intune or SCCM, and they provide a bad API for everybody else to use. So we have to work around that too. But the biggest pain, the most difficult thing is the third-party application patching, because they're so diverse. There's no common way of just, if I want to patch all of my Adobe, Zoom, and any other applications that use tools. There's no way you get. There's tools like Ninite and public repositories, Chocolatey or Winget, and people use that too. But they have their own challenges. I think the biggest one is just because they're community maintained, they're based on contributions of the community. There are risks associated with those, because
Right.
like that, what is that, ZX utils compromise that somebody befriended a contributor and started putting malware in that code. I mean, it could happen to those because those are great people contributing to this, but how can you make sure they all have some basic hygiene, cybersecurity hygiene practices like MFA, or are you doing background checks on those? We do background checks on all of our employees because we're SOC 2 compliant, ISO 27001 compliant. We have to do this, and it's a controlled group of people who only have access to that, and we have processes around that. So we're super we pay a lot of we put a lot of thought into making it highly secure, and it's difficult. I mean, it's tough because every time a new version comes out, there's always something that they break, or like, it no longer uninstalls with the same command line switches, or it breaks like if there's a certain previous version installed, you have to delete a certain file to install on top of that. And yeah,
Or
every time
install
we're
the
running
previous.
how can you do that? Like, I mean, why can't you make it admin friendly? Yeah, so we put a lot of that logic like in that every release of what we put in what we call software repository, which is the basis of how we patch and deploy software.
Right. So, I mean, of all the features that we talked about with Action1, so not only can you see all of your organizations under one platform, you guys put together a little dashboard. You can see which endpoints are patched. You can see which patches are missing. You've made it to where you can see how long patches are overdue and things of that nature. So it seems like a pretty robust dashboard that, myself, as a solution provider, I can just bring all of my clients under it and make it multi-tenant in a sense.
It is
Now,
multi-tenant, yeah.
now, was that the intent from the beginning to work with, multi-tenancy and to make it, you know, desirable by managed service providers?
Yes, because I
Okay.
think back in the Netwrix days, it was not multi-tenant, it was not cloud-based. It was like things were well, at that time was designed pretty much. We created overnight, or 2 nights, I should say, and started selling. Like there was no time for thinking. This time we put a lot of like we created a fundamental design to make it super scalable and multi-tenant from day one. And I think because the MSP market is it has a huge potential. A lot of companies doing managing their IT environments with MSPs and making it fully MSP friendly. MSP design for MSPs was the one of the goals for creating this product.
All right. We've already talked about the fact that you raised the free limit from 100 to 200. I also saw recently that you established a collaboration with Rapid7 to, I guess, be their patch management solution of choice.
Uh,
Um,
Yeah, well, not exactly there yet, but
okay.
what we did, what happened, what's wonderful is wonderful things happen. Sometimes happen without you knowing it. Is we discovered that we have Rapid7 created an integration with Action1 without even talking to us. I was like, what? How's that even possible? And I think what I talked to them since then, and I think and also there's another integration that was created without anyone talking to us from with a company called Exonius that they do basically they scan for different identities, like there's where your user accounts are situated. But anyway, so they also created an integration without talking to us. And I think why it happened is because it's so easy to sign up for Action1. You just go in, go to action1.com, create an account, no questions asked. You don't get a phone call from a salesperson. And the API is there. It's also included. Like I know some companies limit API access to certain tiers of subscriptions. No, we limit nothing. It's like 200 endpoints, everything, including the API, is included. And Rapid7 and Exonius, they just sign up, open the API specification, and put it together. So simple. Well, now we're talking. Now we're talking to different integrations. I can't speak about Rapid7 yet because I'm under NDA with that. With
Okay.
them, may happen, may not. So we don't know. But the thing is, we have a lot of interest from the ecosystem, this vendor ecosystem. And naturally, vulnerability management is that natural integration at a point where with another one is a lot of our customers are asking about is PSA, help desk systems like Halo PSA, ServiceNow. Like the bigger customers, obviously they want ServiceNow, and we collect all this feedback. We have our public roadmap. Just you can check it out quickly. It's roadmap.action1.com. Where you can vote for features and integrations with things like Tenable, ServiceNow, Qualys is on the list too.
Right.
Yeah, these are natural, and we do have some basic vulnerability management features as well. They're basic, right? So we're only talking about software vulnerability management. So we're not going to tell you if you have any open ports or misconfigurations, but we are going to tell you if you're running a vulnerable version of Google Chrome or Adobe, and it'll provide you a quick way to patch that. So it's scan and remediate in one package, which is pretty unique. I mean, there's typically there's been VM tools and patching tools, and sometimes they talk to each other, sometimes they don't, but very few packages are available that combine both in one.
Right. And actually, when you and I first chatted, getting ready for this, I talked about the idea that you guys have a bunch of reports already built in. Most of them are great, but I even asked about, can we get a report that shows that dashboard as a summary so I can send it to a client to say, hey, look, we've got to get updated on your patches, so we need a maintenance window or something along those lines so that they can see, the red, yellow, green of where they are with their patch management. So very nice, because you've got a little recommendation thing where they can say compliant with SLA, no attention needed, or you're behind and all of that stuff. So very nice.
Yeah, that's one thing that getting more analytics over patching, especially historical trending, is something that a lot of our users want, because they, especially MSP clients, because you have to show the proof of your work, right? So like, why would we retain you for another year as our MSP? Oh, here's the patch compliance trend. Without us, it wouldn't be there. You'd be still vulnerable to so many different vulnerabilities.
Yeah. So I know you mentioned you got a lot of people talking to you now. You got people like me. You've got a bunch of MSPs. Do you have any new features that you already know that are coming down the road that you can let us know about?
I think it's a lot of it. As I mentioned before, the public roadmap, it talks a lot about this. So if you want to go deep into like what's coming, that's the best source for everyone. And I think the biggest one we keep getting asked about is support for Linux, because so many mixed environments now exist where we added support for Mac about half a year ago, actually less than half a year ago, because this is what the most requested feature of all time. Like we had over 1,000 votes for just that. Now Linux is close to that. I think it already went over 1,000 votes. This is one of the most exciting things that are coming in terms of cross-platform support. But there's other things on the list other than Linux. Is one feature we call agent takeover prevention. So it's more of it's not a functional feature per se. It's more like an infrastructural feature, because the biggest fear with any cloud solutions, and if we talk about SolarWinds, Kaseya, all those bad incidents that happened in the past when threat actors took over their cloud infrastructure, this is the worst, right? The worst that can happen is a solution that you use to improve your security posture is actually becomes a part of your attack surface. And the whole idea of the agent takeover prevention feature is to create a system that makes it impossible to take over the agents that run on your systems. Yeah, they might wipe out all of what we have in our cloud systems. It could happen. It may happen, right? I mean, nobody's prone. Microsoft got attacked this last summer, and with some severe consequences. Their federal instance got taken over by threat actors. But what we want to do is we create a public-private key-based system, which like you're in a console. You sign like everything you want to do. Like say you want to run a script on your agents, or you want to patch them, deploy some software. You on the client side in the console, you sign it with your private key. It goes to your agents, and they say, "Oh, it's you, Uncle Marv. That it was signed by you. We can do it." But if someone takes over, hackers take over the Action1 cloud, and they tell your agents to do something, they're going to say, "No, this is unrecognized. We don't know who you are." And this is, I think, from the trust perspective, from the security perspective, this is huge. I mean, this, and I don't know if anyone else is working on that. I mean, every cloud vendor should be thinking this way these days, because with so many breaches happening in the news, I mean, everybody should be concerned. But we'll see how that goes. We are particularly excited about this, because this is going to make our platform so much more secure. And other than that, there's things like we're working on some MSP enhancements. For example, what we do get asked about is the dashboard report visibility across their tenants. So currently it's limited per tenant. Like you go inside the tenant, you say, "Oh yeah, here's my client. I can run reports, see dashboards, see patch compliance, all of that." But in some cases, you want to see the overall picture. Right? You know, I have
Right.
50 clients. Show me how am I doing across the board.
Yeah. Right now, I got to go in and switch between the clients to see them. Which, if you don't have a ton of clients, not a big deal. But if you got a lot and you want to get an overall picture, that would be nice. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
What's
Mike,
coming?
what's the most surprising thing that you think has happened to you guys? Because for me, it feels weird, because it seems like it's only been 18 months that you guys have kind of exploded, but I know you've been working on this for a while. So, what's been surprising?
I think what the key to our success, the key to this explosion is that the decision we made back then to focus on patching, because we started initially we looked at the RMM market in general. It was like, oh, such a nice idea, become an RMM, a better RMM. But what we realized is there's so many vendors already that are already on the market. I mean, you were talking about ConnectWise, Datto, Kaseya. There's many. Ninja is just to name a few. They're doing it so well, but not patching. And we figured, well, if we focus just on patching and complement your RMM, it could be a really good strategy. And it played out so well. And we have a lot of customers, especially MSPs, who use products like Ninja or ConnectWise and use Action1 or Intune also. Like we have a lot of Intune customers. They use their RMM product for just for general management, right? To do maintain their computers, to run help desk portals, all of that, or PSAs. Some of them include PSAs. Some of them use third-party solutions, but patching was largely not done well. It changed. Now they run Action1 alongside, and they're super happy.
Yep, that's what I do. That's what I did. I just basically abandoned, for lack of a better phrase, my other patching. And one last thing to talk about feature-wise, there is the ability for Action1 to fully take over the Windows management, where you can turn off the Windows scheduling and do everything through Action1.
Yeah, and we recommend it. Yeah, because so we don't want your client's computers arbitrarily rebooting out of nowhere. Yeah, you want to take it full under control. And
Right.
with Action1, you create automation, so you can tell it how much time you want to give it before they're forced to do a reboot, customize all those messages. Yeah, it becomes a fully controlled patching process with no surprises.
All right. Well, Mike, thank you for taking this brief time with me. Ladies and gentlemen, you can obviously go to Action1.com, and that's action in the number 1. Pretty simple there. And again, to get your feet wet, 200 free endpoints that you can do what you wish. It's not just one client. That's all 200 that you can split among clients if you want to.
Correct.
And I've been doing it for a year. I haven't reached my 200 limit yet, but I'm going to, because I'm going to, I've got a couple more clients I'm ready to throw on there and use the full features. So Mike Walters, co-founder of Action1, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Uncle Marv. Thanks for having me.
All right, folks, we'll see you soon with another episode of the IT Business Podcast. And until then, holla.